Okay guys, welcome back to another spoiler discussion. So more came out obviously tonight, and so we're going to be going over them. Some pretty cool stuff. So first we're going to start with the ruler. So this time we have Book of Dark. So we already had the Book of Light. So he, similar to the last one, he uses Will of Despair cards for his ability, and you cannot put any Will of Hope cards in the deck, just period. You can pay the attribute cost of the Will of Despair cards with any will color that you want. His Judgment, once again, it's the same as the Will of Light except reverse. Whatever cost you pay to Judgment, you can put a Will of Despair card from outside of the game into the field. When that card dies and goes to the graveyard, removed from game, goes back to your hand, anything like that, the J Ruler flips back to its other side. On its J Ruler side, it also can't be destroyed, but it also can't be attacked or attack. It doesn't have any attack or defense. So the first new Resonator is Ahriman? I don't know. The Wicked Spirit Eye. So he's a 2-cost familiar. He has 500 attack, 700 defense, and he does have the Will of Despair subtitle. He has a 0-cost ability, so you can only use it on your turn and only once per turn, but you're able to look at your opponent's hand. So that can both give you the edge, see what cards they have and what they intend to play. It can also be used in conjunction with other cards maybe. Since it's a free ability, you can look at their hand, see if they have a Resonator before you use Scorn of Dark Alice or some other card that specifically targets cards in their hand. Different things like that. So I can see a lot of different uses for it. Plus just having knowledge of your opponent's hand is always a good thing. Next we have Abdul. Is that how you say it? Okay. Sinister Vizier. So he's a 3-cost, 700, 800 human with Will of Despair as well. And he has the Resonance ability for Darkness Magic Stones. So whenever a Darkness Magic Stone comes into play, your opponent discards a card. I think that's pretty cool. I think it'll be a lot of fun, especially I was telling Oscar, if you happen for whatever reason to end up with 2 or 3 of them on the field, every time you call a Darkness Stone, your opponent discards 2 or 3 cards just passively. That'll be a lot of fun. He's a decently strong set, 700, 800 for 3 isn't terrible, but that ability is pretty good, I think. Oscar doesn't really care for the artwork. I think it's pretty good. His face and hair is kind of weird, but everything else I think is pretty good on it. But Oscar also thinks it's a cool combo if you were to run it in the guild deck that runs the stone where you remove from game the top card of your opponent's deck when it comes in. So when it comes in, they'll discard a card and remove the top card of the deck from game. So you're getting all these sort of combos going off at once, I guess. Next, this is one that I think we're really excited about. It's Yamata No Orochi, the Resurrected Calamity. So he is an 8-cost, 12 Apostle with 0 attack and 1600 defense. First thing to note off, it's 12 Apostle, so you can use it in conjunction with like the BFA, Shift, Gil. I think a couple other cards work with it as well, so that's kind of cool. It's Will of Despair as well, so you can use any will to pay for it. It has Swiftness, and its ability is when it enters the field, it does 800 damage to every other Resonator. So that not only includes every Resonator your opponent controls, but every Resonator you control as well besides the card itself. And he has Swiftness, so you can attack right away. And his attack is, or his ability is whenever he attacks, he once again does 800 damage to every other Resonator and 800 damage to your opponent. So the turn that you put him in, assuming you attack with his Swiftness, you're instantly doing 1600 to the entire field, all your opponent's Resonators, all of your Resonators, and 800 damage to your opponent. So it's pretty cool. It's a lot of fun. I think it'll be pretty interesting to see what's done with it. It is a high cost, so we'll see how much play it actually gets, but definitely be pretty cool. And it is important to note, it's sort of implied by the abilities, but you can always declare attacks. He has 0 attack. You can still declare an attack with him. You can declare attacks with anything with 0 attack unless the card states otherwise. So it's a good tidbit to know. Next we have Umar, right? Umar At-Tawil? Umar At-Tawil. Yeah, it's Yogg-Sothoth. It's the human form of Yogg-Sothoth. So he's a 7-cost, 8/8 human / Cthulhu, obviously. Will of Despair once again, and when he enters your field, you get to search your deck for up to 1 non-chant card with total cost 1, up to 1 non-chant card with total cost 2, and up to 1 non-chant card with total cost 3 and put them all into your field. So that's pretty cool. So you can instantly, 7 cost, so it's a little bit high, but when it enters your field, you populate your field with 3 resonators. You could throw in Lancelot's, 2 cost, I don't even know off the top of my head. You could throw in that Abdul we already saw earlier. He's a 3 cost if you're running a dark water deck. You can, one idea I had was you throw in a fairy tale library. So you populate your field with other humans and Cthulhus, and when the library hits the field, you declare for your race either humans or Cthulhu, so they all gain swiftness, including this card, and start attacking with them. Different combos like that. So some of the ideas we had was you could pair it with things like Rising from the Depths, so you play that card with the Awakening, and let's say in a good scenario you have 3 of these in your hand. You put 3 of them into your field for free because of that card. And now you've populated your field with 9 other cards theoretically. So if they're all resonators, you now have 12 resonators on your field and maybe 1 addition to give them all swiftness. And something Oscar pointed out, you could run it with a Lumia, so when it gets into your field, you can flicker it at the end of turn and have his ability hit all over again. So you have 6 total cards now instead of just the initial 3, and you can keep doing that obviously. Different things like that. I think it'll see a lot of play. Not a lot, but a decent amount, enough. I think people might go back and start using Rising from the Depths, because before you could only use Captain Hook was the main draw for that. Obviously there was others, but that was the main draw, and he started to fall off a little bit. But now you could combo off with Hook, this guy, some other stuff. I think it could be pretty fun. Next, we have Tell a Dark Fairy Tale. So this is the mirror of the card we had before. It's a 1 cost chant. Look at the top 4 cards of your deck, get a Will of Despair, put it in your hand, put the rest on the bottom of your deck. So it's just a good way to mill through your deck, grab what you need, and keep moving on. Just straightforward. And also, if you look at this card at the bottom, the flavor text, we finally get to see the flavor text that, if you follow the Q&As with Jordan, he's been teasing this entire time, which is, and they all lived unhappily ever after. So it's kind of interesting that it went on this sort of generic card. I would kind of think that it'd be a different card, but I guess it has something to do with that storybook maybe in the art, but yeah. Lastly is the final battle. Want a real quick preface, in case you guys haven't already noticed. For whatever reason, not the best artwork on this one. I noticed there was a card in the last spoiler as well, maybe the one before that. There seems to be a trend of at least one card that has not as great artwork as the rest of them. So this is one of them. Anyways, so it's a 1 cost with an X in the void spot. So you can, has the ability of J resonators your opponent's control gain -X till end of turn, where that -X obviously refers to whatever you were to pay for that void. So you can pay that with for will, or the main draw of the ability is you can pay for that with your own life as well. So for every 200 life you pay, it counts as 1 void on that. So you can play it, pay 1,000 life to give your opponent's board -5, and you've only spent 1 will on the card total. So you now have all this open will to still do other combos, other things during your turn. Put resonators down with swiftness to swing in for the kill once you wipe their field with the card's ability, or you could just straight up pay the card's ability and it's still halfway decent. Different things like that. So I think this card is actually going to see a lot of play, mainly because of the ability to pay for life instead of will is a huge draw, I think. So yeah, so that's all the spoilers for today. Let me know what you guys thought below. They're pretty interesting. I'm really liking it so far. I'm getting pretty excited for this new set coming out. Also, if you guys haven't noticed already, or if you haven't seen, we have a giveaway going on right now. So I'll have a link in the description as well as at the end of this video. If you want to click that to enter, all you have to do to enter is subscribe, different things like our Facebook page, follow our Twitter, different random things like that. We're giving away a playmat bag and some Ultra Pro solar eclipse sleeves, which are pretty awesome. And stay tuned for more spoilers and Force of Will news next week, as well as a new game mode that Oscar and I came up with that will be debuting tomorrow. So keep an eye out for that, and we'll see you guys next time.